Hey, this is Rachel True, and you're listening to GGR Pirate Radio.
MC mentioned something earlier. Obviously, myself, James Rambo, we don't have a black card.
No. For some reason, that was not issued to me.
No, I didn't. I'm sure it got lost in the mail. I joke, but in all seriousness, I wanted to bring this up at a very minimum briefly because we will spend time on this in October or late September when I get back. We'll probably devote a whole episode to the topic because it's deserved. The passing of Chadwick Boseman was a fucking gut punch to every single person who is a Marvel fan. I can't speak from the perspective of somebody who is black of what that character meant to the community, but I know that MC has talked about it before, and of course I'll give him a chance to talk about it again. But like we all were just crushed by this, but then I think more so learning how fucking brave this dude was, that he had been fighting colon cancer the entire time. Filming of Civil War, filming of Black Panther, filming of Infinity War 1 and 2. This motherfucker fought the entire time and very rarely let on to it. And you see these quotes from him about like, oh, you have no idea the struggle. Boy, does that fucking make sense now.
Yeah.
And like, I remember him going to a hospital and seeing a little girl who was sick with cancer who ended up dying, and he was devastated. And you get it now, you know? Like, what a fucking brave dude he was. And like, just salute across the board for fucking Chadwick Boseman. Like, what a badass he was. So that, I wanted to say my piece. Rambo, if you want to say your piece, MC, and then we'll go ahead and close it up.
I mean, you pretty much said it, man. It's you know, a friend of mine was talking about essentially the critique that he's seeing from a lot of folks about the basically blaming Boseman for not telling more people about it, specifically in this case, because if more people knew about it, more people could have been praying for him. Which, like, look, I'm not a religious dude, and if that works for you, great, that works for you. But that doesn't even fucking make sense to me on a religious level. Like, the idea, what, God couldn't hear the prayers of the people who did know? Like,
this is
fuck on.
God is not social media.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, you didn't get enough likes, so
sorry, little Billy.
Yeah.
You should have had a better social media presence.
I guess you really should have hired some PR people.
Yeah. Like, I mean, seriously, like, start hashtagging your shit, Billy. Come on, man. Get your act together.
It's so frustrating. Apparently this was a similar thing with, you know, when Robin Williams died.
With David Bowie. Bowie didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, I mean, and like, it's, you know, anger is a part of the grieving process, and so I don't fault people too much when that angry stuff comes up. But you know, as my buddy put it, there's a difference between anger and judgment, and when it becomes judgmental, that's when he takes issue.
Agreed.
I'm so impressed to the degree of physical work that is entailed, not only in just dealing with the therapies that he was going through, but the shape he was in for both Civil War and Black Panther. Current superhero shape is absurdly hard on the body, and to be doing that while you're going through chemo, while you're going through radiation therapy, is fucking craziness. The fact that he was able to do it. I mean, like, I've seen some really beautiful commentary and thoughts from Ryan Coogler and from Michael B. Jordan and Angela Bassett about this, and it's, you know, obviously I didn't know the man, so all I can speak on is what I saw from him as a professional, and dude put the fucking work in. And we're honestly we're all a little lesser for having lost him, and it sucks.
Yeah, 100%. MC, apparently you're a closing manager this evening. We'll let you close us out on Mr. Boseman.
I owe my entire MCU fandom and like the depth of it to Chadwick. I kept up with the MCU before. I had seen the movies. I had seen the Avengers. I had seen Iron Man and Captain America. I had seen all, but I really wasn't. I wasn't like as into it as I was with like other stuff. Like I had seen it, but they were just cool. And it really wasn't until Civil War, kind of going into it without real knowledge of who all was actually gonna be in the movie. But I figured it'd be cool to watch. And just from the second T'Challa showed up on screen, the second Chadwick showed up on screen, like he owned every scene he was in that movie. And for me, from there, it grabbed me in a way that I hadn't really been grabbed by any of the previous movies. Which is not to say that they were bad, but it was just something very different about seeing a character who really looks like you, who's on screen. And I was like, oh, I need to find out what this is about. Like, who is this dude? And a lot of my friends and people I knew at the time kind of helped put me on game. And then they announced the film, and I was in. And because of him and the Black Panther movie, I had one of the greatest nights of my life 2 years ago. Cold February night in New York with about 300 other black nerds filling out an entire theater to watch this movie on opening night. And just from start to finish, I was completely riveted, and just I was in, and it gave me such an honor and a pride about just my own blackness and the overall importance of representation, and finally being able to see us in a film that wasn't like a Tyler Perry film or a comedy film or anything like that. Like, it was a superhero film where many of the people look like me and my siblings and my friends and so many people that I've gotten to know through my 32 years of life, and it was special. But it wasn't just a movie, I think, for me and for so many of us out here either. It was a cultural moment. It wasn't just hey, I'm gonna go see this superhero flick. It was I'm gonna dress in this traditional African garb. I'm gonna take my my mother and father who don't like superhero films. I'm gonna take them to go see it because they recognize the importance of it. I get to go see my students who I haven't been in education in 5 years now, and I'm seeing my students, my former students, dressing as various characters from Black Panther, whether it's T'Challa or Okoye or Killmonger or just anyone from that film. And it was just such a pride that film, I think, really gave us, and it's largely because of Chadwick and his performance, and that's just speaking to him on screen. I think off screen, just the person he was just radiated throughout and really affected everyone who got to know him and everyone who got to watch him, and just how he lived his life. I think the biggest thing that I took away from the fact that no one knew anything about his diagnosis or anything, yet he still gave us these films, is not so much because I don't feel like he felt like he had to do those things, but I felt like he wanted to do those things because he knew and recognized the importance and the impact that they could have. And, you know, he's going to be missed. And it sucks because it really seemed like, you know, we were going to get to watch the heights that he was going to be able to reach, even beyond playing Black Panther. And he's played a number of iconic roles, from Jackie Robinson to Thurgood Marshall, James Brown. Like they're just so much. He lived his life on his own terms, and he is an icon and a legend. And I'm grateful that I lived in a time where I got to see not only his work, but see how he lived his life and how he dedicated himself to his family and his people, because he knew that the stakes of it all were even beyond him. I'm not a religious person at all, but I do think there is a lot of honor and a lot of pride in being able to fight for something that's bigger than yourself. And Chadwick understood that, and I think that's the biggest reason why he did everything that he did. And while it does suck, I am glad that he won't be suffering anymore while he's here, because I can only imagine the toll it took on his body, and on his family and people around him, with him having to choosing to work everything that he worked, while also battling this unfortunate disease. So I'm glad that he's no longer in pain. I'm gonna miss him. I think I speak for every Black person who has seen his work, and just wanted to tell him, from even though he's in the grave, just thank you, and thank you to his family, and Wakanda forever.
Yeah, we'll leave it on that note. Guys, thank you as always for tuning in to another episode of At the Diner on GGR Pirate Radio. Rest in peace, Mr. Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, Wakanda forever for sure. Good night, guys.
In my culture, death is not the end. It's more of a stepping off point. You reach out with both hands of bast and segment. They lead you into the green veldt where you can run forever.
Thank you for listening to GGR Pirate Radio. Make sure you check out our website, GreatGeekRefuge.com, for all of our awesome articles and wonderful podcasts.